the starting goaltender. By Tim Hortons.
Game 5 of 2012 Stanley Cup Final.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's meet the starting goaltenders. Brought to you by Tim Hortons. Premium blend coffee. It's always 20 minutes fresh. With Nikolai Hobby doing on the show. Kevin Goodnick is your number
2-1 overtime win.
26 starts of the year tonight. 7 of 11 wins have come right here at Rexall Place. And 31-year-old Ilya Bryzgalov says he needs to find peace in his soul in order to play in Philadelphia. Well, he has 51 million reasons to find peace, but he's 43rd best in save percentage. The Flyers coming off a 5-4 overtime win against Winnipeg on Tuesday. The Oilers, of course, on a 5-4 best in save percentage. The Flyers coming off a 5-4 overtime
win against Winnipeg in the Stanley Cup Final. 2 games to 2 with the Oilers
up 6-1.
Regained the series lead to 3-1, 3-2, and here we go.
All shook up since the last time this team played here at Rexall against Vancouver. Those are the same lines that Vancouver is going to feel here and right off the bat. Next county, Eric Wellwood is on that line. He did not play in the game in Winnipeg, number 47. He is the brother of Kyle Wellwood. The Oilers will see on Monday when they travel to Winnipeg to take on the Jets. Eager. The pass for Belonzi. Down to Alice Higgins. Gets just inside the blue line. Has tripped his pass for Hall. Doesn't work. Good working up there by Giroux. Giroux with 70 points on the season. He's tied for second in the NHL in points. Simmons has it over his stick. Nice lineups brought to you by Boston Pizza, your hockey headquarters destination. Well, there's no changes for their lineup from that game 6-1 Tuesday in Calgary. But the Winnipeg Flyers have changed a couple of things. As you mentioned, Wellwood in, and also Jody Schreier will take the place of Zach Ronaldo on the fourth line inside. So a couple little switch-ups for the Philadelphia Flyers tonight. John Couturier is the guy that is also up in the press box. Couturier, an impressive rookie. Tied for 8th among rookies in goals. He's got 10, but he sits in that. Also talks to the depth. Compete to get in the defensive morning, talked about the fact everything stems from the compete level. When they bring it to the table early on, good things happen. From the face-off, Potter spins it around the boards. Jaromir Jagr gets his first shift. It's been a while since he's played here. And there was talk about him actually becoming a member of the Edmonton Oilers back in 2008. Yeah, he talked about that. And, you know, one of the all-time greatest players ever played the game.
Reggie Leach.
Just leaped an all-time points. And just a big smile there as he has a little laugh with one of the boys that he goes by with that big body the Jagr possesses. And I remember playing against him. He's so hard to handle down low with that size and strength. When he stretches that puck out from you, it's 12 feet away from you. You feel like, oh, this is going to be a bad deal. 40 years old. There's talk about him coming back next year. Gene talked about it off the top of the show. 16 over the handle down boys that he goes foul there. About that, and you know what? The Edmonton Oilers be played here. The handle down low. This in the NHL has more. Number 16 came against Winnipeg on Tuesday. Braden Gilbert picked up for Voracek. Voracek centering pass. He was looking for Van Riemsdyk. Riemsdyk missed 15 with a concussion. And he's got 11 goals on the season. Got an assist in Winnipeg. Here is Jordan Eberle. Eberle with Ryan Smith and Sam Goniey. Whitney trying to keep him in at the point against Voracek. That bouncing puck is picked up by Colbert. To an open wing it goes. And there is Van Riemsdyk into Jim. His shot misses the target. It's picked up on the near side by Voracek. R.C. Voracek in his second straight game. After Petrell. He tips it in. Petrell, Lander, and Voracek. The fourth line. Getting his shift right now. Back to the point he comes. Gilbert is with Sutton. Sutton with a wrist shot through traffic. Vizcala make the save, but juggled it. Here's another one. This time it doesn't make it through off the stick of Andy Sutton. Voracek in the corner against Pavel Zabina. Zabina playing in his second game since arriving from the Tampa Bay Lightning in exchange for draft picks.
Yeah, Pavel Zabina this morning said that he hadn't skated in a few days before he got on the plane headed to Philadelphia. Has played one game in Winnipeg on Tuesday night, so I'm sure as every game goes on for him, he says he'll start to feel it out and feel
stretch. 20 minutes, 38 seconds. Right to Brizgalov. Long shot by Eager. Goes off Mazzaros. 8 seconds in that first game. Long shot by Eager. Goes off Mazzaros. And then it comes right to Brizgalov. And he will cover it up with Eager.
Well, it was a good night Tuesday for the Edmonton Oilers. And a long time coming as they had difficulty with the Calgary Flames. The last couple of years, a lot of firsts. Jordan Eberle with his 100th career point stands out. Taylor Hall this morning was telling me that he hasn't played well against the Flames. He finally got a couple points against them. Devin Dubin, Ryan Smith, and Ralph Kruger especially. His 100th career point stands out. Taylor Hall this morning was telling me that he hasn't played well against the Flames. He finally got a couple points against them. Devin Dubin, Ryan Smith, and Ralph Kruger especially with his first career NHL win as a head coach behind him. Ralph Kruger especially with his first career NHL win as a head coach behind the bench, taking over for Tom Gilbert, who we saw in the press box just a little while ago.
And they gave the puck to Ralph Kruger. Shot right on. Crowd looking for the rebound. The Flyers don't have a shot so far. They had 55 in that game against Winnipeg. That tied a franchise record.
Yeah, season high 55 has been a fair. Oilers have done a great job. That was the night that they did that against the Flames.
Top, Hensky and Hall out there now. Roseman takes Hall out of the play and it comes to Wellwood. Wellwood gets the center and will chip it in, but it's offside.
Oh, they have to play theirs. Come in and don't see wrestles very often. Take care of your own business and everything will work out. But for Edmonton tonight, Bucks pass that aggressive forecheck and in deep behind the big defenseman of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Martinez gets to it and he gets it to Coburn. Gives it away to Hall. Hall trying to get a shot away. Instead it comes to Hensky. Alex Hensky to Hall. Hall to Schmid. Schmid moving in. Let it left. Schmid trying to wrap around, but it just left the end of the stick. Long shot. And that's through the side. Petrie let it go, but Hall trying to keep it in on the near side. Back the other way comes Hartnell. Good pass to Simmons. And a penalty coming up. And it's going to be a hooking call in the first power play of this hockey game. Will go to the Philadelphia Flyers.
I'm surprised that was whistled down. Looked like it was Claude Giroux that picked up the puck. As this goes over the line, it was on the back check. Sean Horkoff digging into Wayne Simmons, and right there the puck gets through, and it gets whistled down. So Simmons moving his feet, draws it into the middle zone. Sean Horkoff obviously doesn't like the call too much. A little ticky-tack there. The Philadelphia Flyers, who have a red hot power play, getting the first one tonight.
52 power play goals on the season for the Flyers. That is number 1 in the National Hockey League. They were 1 for 3 in that victory over Winnipeg. They are currently ranked 5th in the league in power play. It drops to 7th on the road. Voracek sends that just wide. Back to the point it comes. Timo Timonen is waiting for it there. Now Voracek on the near side. He goes for the quasi pass looking for Scott Hartnell. And that puck goes out of play. Scott Hartnell with 14 power play goals this season. Number 1 in the league.
Yeah, having a terrific year. 28 goals in the year. Half of them on the power play. And he uses that size effectively in front of the net. And maybe the best hair in the game. Looks a little bit like Wolverine when you see him in person. But I'll tell you, he's had a terrific year this year. All 3 players in that top line, Giroux, Simmons, and Hartnell, on career high pace.
Back to the point it goes. Voracek waiting for it there. A 1 defenseman, and it's this guy here. And that's Timo Timonen. He'll give it to Voracek. Voracek takes a look, fires it towards the net. Big traffic in front, provided by Simmons. But Devin Dubnyk stands his ground, makes 2 saves, and hangs onto it.
This is a good save by Devin Dubnyk here, just to stand his ground. He looked very poised in the rebound shot. And Simmons does a good job just to get in front of him. Watch him right in front of him, move the body. Dubnyk looks around him, gets down, knows he's tight to the post, so doesn't move. And the rebound is... Simmons does a good job just to get in front of him. Watch him right in front of him, move the body. Dubnyk looks around him, gets down, knows he's tight to the post, so doesn't move. And the rebound is gobbled up by him. And when you look at the last 3 games of Hartnell, Simmons, and Giroux, the top line for Philadelphia is getting it done.
You see Wayne Simmons has got a protection around his mouth. That was because a little while ago in warm-up, a puck went off a crossbar and hit him right in the yap. Lost a couple of teeth, had a bunch of stitches. As the puck now, though, lets the shot go. Devin Dubnyk the save. And it's cleared out. So it obviously isn't stopping him from getting his first 20-goal season of his career. Over a minute left of power play time as Voracek circles the net. Back to the point, Timonen hammers it, gets deflected Cardinal, and again, Rudnick makes the save. Voracek sets up shot, tried to thread it through Sutton, can't do it. It comes to Simmons, he lost it. And it's picked up there by Leonard Petrell. Petrell's got time, and he will send it down the ice.
Notice early on, the Flyers are always looking for that redirection in front, bodies in front of the goaltender, the tips in front. And every shot has a purpose on it from the blue line to the surrounding player. Voracek a couple times already has looked down to try and find Wayne Simmons close to the goaltender.
Well, they didn't have a shot before the power play started. Now they've got 4. With 23 seconds left to go, and the penalty to the captain, Sean Horkoff. And Briere flips it in. Out there with Yager, and then Riemsdyk. Ryan Smith to Eric Belanger. Belanger just got enough of it to get it out to center. Kavinas. Louis, you talked about him being the only right-handed shot on the blue line for the Philadelphia Flyers. We'll see if they use that. He and Yager have played in World Championships before. And it's Yager's that's feeding him the puck.
Yeah, hardest shot in the back end for sure. So a great ingredient injected into their lineup in that trade from Tampa Bay.
Horkoff out of the penalty box. Goniey trying to center it. Petrie down low. It's picked up there by Carl. Carl tied for 12th among defensemen in assists. He's got 26 on the season.
And I guarantee he's the only Philadelphia Flyer that's ever caught a live alligator and handled it.
Absolutely. He's telling us this morning. He said it was your idea.
It was my idea. He wanted to eat my topwater bait. I said, let's use a worm instead.
Brady's going after it against Whitney. Pokes it to Shen. Brayden Shen throws it towards the net. A weak shot, steered aside. Reed. Talbot. Back to the point it goes. Kept in by Grossman. Grossman and Mazzaros on the blue line. Opportunity for Talbot right in front. A bouncing puck is picked up. And Everly trying to get it out, but can't do it. The Flyers keeping the pressure on. And it's Matt Reed in the corner. Deals with Potter. Whitney on Talbot. Separates him from the puck. And Whitney starts out. Quick pass to Hall. Hall at center is going to fire it in, and then he's going to head off. Just over 12 minutes to go here in the first period. This is the only meeting of the season between the Flyers and the Oilers.
And see how dangerous Philadelphia can be early on the forecheck.
Series,
get that
first
two. They'll hand you in. And they attack and forecheck with 3 players sometimes. So for Edmonton, quick ups past them.
It's Ellis Oilers hockey right
Final.
here.
For Edmonton, quick ups past them.
It's Ellis Oilers hockey
Stanley Cup Final.
Well, both from a team standpoint and a personal standpoint, Ralph Kruger was elated with the result in Calgary. And the first person to call him, actually text him, and then tell him to call him, was head coach Tom Gilbert to congratulate him on what Roy Whitney eventually presented to Ralph Kruger and the Calgary Flames visiting dressing room. And that was the puck from the first win on the part of Ralph Kruger. His 0 in the win column, thanks to the win against Calgary, went up in flames.
Here's Tom Gilbert. He shoots. He scores! Tom Gilbert! 7 minutes into the first period. Game 5. And it is 1-0 for Edmonton. Here, Edmonton. And the crowd cheering for the goal. It scored 4 shots from Reggie, and bam! What a pass!
Played 7 minutes Tuesday versus the Calgary Flames, was out the previous 9 games, so we knew that when these two guys faced off against each other, they had a little conversation. They've seen each other many times before over their career. 2 of the more active guys in the pugilistic department of the NHL. 2 of the more active guys in the pugilistic department of the NHL.
And it is 1-0.
Scrap of
Tom Gilbert, first of the puck.
And that's another great one there. They both went out. Archie Hornacek gets the extra 2 minutes. The roughing. Archie Hornacek gets the assist. Short-handed. Welcome back.
goaltender to the tips.
He's trying to get it open.
And both from a
19 seconds in the game. So Jody Shelley in this series. Here's Voracek again. For the second time in this game. Philadelphia got 4 shots for last time. They had just 5 in this series. Here's Voracek again. They'll play it back to the point.
make it 28
goals in their last 3 games. Goniey leads the charge. Just a minute to go in this power play as Briere brings it across the line.
1-0 Edmonton.
Henry finds it back to Kabila.
His best of 7 Stanley Cup final.
Out there as well. Lands the knee as the 3. He's got the puck now. Back to point. There's Kabila shots.
Edmonton chanting.
Kabila combined to 4. He's second. Good play for someone to get it to Petrell and Belonzo up front. Petrell able to work that puck out. Calgary with the down. Picked up by Reed. Reed cross ice. And Ringsdale sticking into a shot for Briere, and he fired that puck wide.
I think he was looking for Jagger going to the net there.
Slap pass. Kabina's got it now. Kabina down deep for Briere, trying to feed it back to the point. Borkoff broke that up. Here's Van Riemsdyk. He gets knocked down by Gilbert. And the Oilers send the puck down the ice.
Aggressive penalty coming by Edmonton, not allowing a whole lot to set up shot. Once it gets close to the net, staying compact, keeping it to the outside. Not too many good chances so far in the second power play for the Philadelphia Flyers.
And that power play is over. And now the teams are at even strength. And shot, and there's a glove save by Dubnik. And he is going to hang on to it. Tellis, Oilers hockey from Rexall Place. We'll be back. Going to hang on to it. Tellis, Oilers hockey from Rexall
Tom
Place.
Gilbert.
And he is going to hang on to it.
First goal in this
Tellis, Oilers hockey
series
from Rexall
is
Place.
the Stanley Cup final
He is going to hang on to it.
in Rexall
Tellis,
Place.
Oilers hockey from Rexall Place.
After
He is
6
going to hang on
years
to it.
of Stanley
Tellis,
Cup
Oilers hockey from Rexall
final
Place.
loss.
We'll be back after this.
Well, 28 goals in a trip to the All-Star game has certainly garnered a lot of interest this season on the part of Scott Hartnell, but his game at times is secondary when it comes to the interest that is a result of his hair, which was featured among other players, including Brian Jones, when it comes to which player is most in need of a haircut, and it was Hartnell that won by 12 percentage points over Ryan Jones when it comes to haircut. Opposite, these two are literally on the same page.
Sports Illustrated seems to love to do those the Vancouver Canucks.
And we have another save. Oh, we can't forget about the keys to the
The
game.
keys to the game are brought to
They're
you by 4.
Well, for the Nashville Predators tonight, the 4 games they've played so far this year, they've allowed 31 or more shots against, so they'll have to limit shots against Edmonton. They kind of dial that range in, and for the Oilers, it's a quick reload. The quick transition of Nashville is where they capitalize on teams when pucks are turned over. Edmonton has to have that quick reload and get bodied. They capitalize on teams when pucks are turned over. Edmonton has to have that quick reload and get bodied.
Win the Stanley Cup. They will.
Edmonton has to have that quick reload and get bodies on the defensive side of the puck.
Linus Omar. Magnus PRB. 9 shots for the Flyers. 7 of them come on 2 power plays. The Oilers with 3 shots.
Oilers.
But Louis, the last 3 games we have done here at Rexall Place, it has been starts that have really bothered the Edmonton Oilers. And now some pushing and shoving as Coburn and Whitney have exchanged some words. You know,
Time now for the TELUS Optic TV Power Poll. As the trade deadline gets closer, are the Oilers buyers, sellers, or should they stay put? To enter, text your vote buy, sell, or stay to 333-777. One of the entries has a chance to win tickets to an upcoming Oilers home game, and we will update the poll results later in period number 3.
back to the point, Louis, about the starts for the Oilers. A better start here tonight at
Chance to win tickets to an upcoming Oilers home game, and we will update the poll results later in period number 3.
Gino, back to the point, Louis, about the starts for the Oilers. A better start here tonight at home, and they're taking a page out of that game in Calgary.
Yeah, for sure, and that's one of the areas that they definitely wanted to shore up from the previous 3 losses, where their starts hadn't been great. And they're playing from behind the 8 ball. I think in the last 5 games or 6 games now, they didn't score against the Calgary Flames on Tuesday night. But for Ralph Kruger, the thing he liked about it was that they didn't sit back and say, okay, here we go again. They weren't deflated. They kept going. 17 shots in the first period, 17 shots in the second period. They got the puck in the net, and they continued to attack. So tonight, down 9-3 in the shot clock with 2 power plays going to the Philadelphia Flyers. I'm sure they're going to continue to try and battle themselves back. did first against playing from behind the 8 ball. I think in the last 5 games or 6 games now, they didn't score against first. Tuesday night, obviously the thing he liked about it was that they didn't sit back and say, okay, here we go again. They weren't deflated. They kept going. 17 shots in the first Tuesday night. But for Ralph Kruger, the thing he liked about it was that they didn't sit back and say, okay, here we go again. They weren't deflated. They kept going. 17 shots in the first period, 17 shots in the second period. They got the puck in the net, and they continued to attack. So tonight, down 9-3. Again, liked about it was that they didn't under Flames on Tuesday night. But for Ralph Kruger, the thing he liked battle themselves back into this one and generate more offensive chances.
The 7th time that the Oilers have won a game when the opposition has scored first. And the largest margin of victory against the Flames in Calgary since 1996. Dubnyk stops it in behind the net. He's got to deal with Hartnell. Sends it around the boards. A bouncing puck comes to Mazzaros. He lets it go, and there, right in front of the net, was Hartnell. But again, denied by Dubnyk. 10 shots now for the Flyers. Mazzaros. Here's pass, tipped by Hall, like to Simmons. He'll send it in deep. Tom Gilbert looks for it, and Tom Gilbert averaging just over 23 minutes as he works his way back from that ankle problem. Magnus Bjarvi flying out there with Ben Eager and Eric Belanger. Belanger got a goal in that game against Calgary, and you talk about monkeys coming off the back for Brian Smith. Belanger, again, another guy who is struggling.
Ready to sell? RE/MAX agents have the experience to get the job done in today's market. Visit remax.ca today.
For Eric Belanger, his first point in the month of February. He is Eager and Bjarvi stay out there. Whitney and Potter on the blue line. Belanger lining up against Daniel Briere. And wins that draw cleanly back to Whitney at the point. Whitney throws it towards the net. Oh, again off the glove of Brizgala. Bjarvi behind the net. Magnus Bjarvi trying to get away from Braden. Work it back to Whitney. It was picked off there by Jagr. He'll get it to Reed. Matt Reed moving in with Briere and Jagr. To the corner it goes. Now it's picked up by Sutton. Lost it to Reed. He'll play it to the other side, but waiting for it there is Ryan Whitney. Whitney, pass for Belanger, didn't work. Jagr broke that up. Now Bjarvi's got it. An opportunity to get it out for Eager, and it was broken up right the last second by Matt Carl. Reed brings it in, pays the flight, and he gets it to Potter. Now to Jagger's shot. Sent to the corner. Another shot by Reed. This one goes wide. That's Ryan putting on some pressure. Jagr is sitting at the side of the net. Right by. Kavina takes the hit. Eager keeps it in. Jagr spins to get away from Ben Eager. To the middle it goes. Kept in by the Flyers. Kavina. To Carl. Kavina steps into a slap shot deflected. Now they have outside of the post. Reed with it now. Reed behind the net looking for Danny Briere. Belanger, Bjarvi, and Eager have been out there a long time, and Devin Dubnyk gives them an opportunity to change.
Time to play Safeway's $1 million score and win if any Oilers player scores puck.
Kept them. Gets checked by Voracek. Smith out there now. Turnover. Van Riemsdyk with a wrist shot and a save by Dubnyk. Smith will get another opportunity, and he does get it to Goniey now. Here comes Sam Goniey to Smith. Steps into a slap shot. Pad save. Big rebound. And it comes to Braden Shen. Shen. Outlet. Mazzaros. Swings it to the corner. Voracek. And Gilbert battle for that loose puck. Ryan Smith. Jordan Eberle. They play give and go, and Andy Sutton will pick it up at center. He just wants to backhand it in. He bounces it right onto Brizgala.
Really, Brizgala hasn't faced a whole lot in this game so far. Only 5 shots on net. That is a 6-1 there, the hopper. But he hasn't controlled many of them.
Orkov got spun around, but Hall carries on. Hall with speed with a wrist shot, and that gets deflected up into the netting. No score here at Rexall. That gets deflected up into the netting. No score here at Rexall. Tell us, Oilers hockey right on the net.
Ryan Smith certainly enjoyed his 36th birthday, which came on Tuesdays. He had a goal. He's sitting here, and they had a great beats his 30 deluxe.
Well, what was the tip like? Yeah, kind of nice on your birthday to get a goal and an assist.
There is a goal.
Calgary, the Battle of Alberta. And a 6-1 win that the Oilers needed. They are currently riding a 3-game losing streak here at Rexall Place.
He tried to tell us he wasn't super.
Currently riding a 3-game losing streak here at Rexall Place.
He tried to tell us he wasn't superstitious this morning. And said,
Oilers
you asked me, do you change anything up? He goes, no, I do the same thing every day. But I'm not superstitious.
No.
Every hockey player is superstitious.
Yeah. He said he doesn't take a different route when he struggles. Because I got to take the same route.
You know what? For Brian Smith, he's been honest about it. He hasn't really had a great stretch as of late. 3 points in his last 2, but no goals in his previous 11. Got a goal on Tuesday night, and he looked up to the sky and said, you know what? That was a long time coming. Wants to continue that success.
And he called the monkey on his back a bit of a gorilla.
Yep. Getting a little heavy up there.
Eric Belanger back to pick it up. We've got 4 minutes, 12 seconds to go in this first period. The Flyers have doubled up on the Oilers in terms of shots. 12-6. 7 of those have come on the 2 power plays that they've had. Long shot by Wellwood. Pass save by Dufin. Eric Wellwood. Gets checked by Belanger. Belanger goes down heavily. Wellwood with the puck. He'll send it around the near side. And waiting for it there is Andre Nazaro. Nazaro throws it towards the net. Shelley deflected it into the corner. Corey Potter's got it. Potter. Soft little pass for Belanger. Hopped over his stick and it's shot right back in by Grossman. Calvin trying to center it. Can't do it. Van Riemsdyk behind the net. Potter's got it now. Hops over the stick of Piarvi. Right for Grossman. He'll keep it in. Now Piarvi another opportunity. But again, the Flyers keep control. It comes back to the point. Nazaro will give that puck to Voracek. And then it gets deflected off Whitney's stick right into the netting.
Well, Kevin, because of that groin strain to Nikolai Happy-Poulin-Jan Denis has been called up to the Oklahoma City team down from the American Hockey League. And he's having a terrific year down there. 21-10-1 record. He's first in goals against average and tied for second in save percentage with 5 shutouts. And that's why they lead the Western Conference. And if you look back, a Hobie Baker runner-up back in 2004, playing for Brown University. So, biding his time. Waiting to see if he might be able to get in there, but Nikolai Happy-Poulin seems to be day-to-day, so I'm not too sure how long he'll be up, but he's going to take this advantage and enjoy his time with Edmonton.
His last game in the NHL was March of 2010. He was 3-2-1 for New Jersey in the 09-10 season. He's not played in the Western Conference and all his time in the East.
Yeah, 49 career games in the National Hockey League with the Montreal Canadiens, New York Islanders, and New Jersey Devils. So a little bit of experience there, and they really like the way he's played down there. Why wouldn't you?
Jagr trying to muscle his way in against Ladislav Schmid. Schmid would have been a guy that grew up idolizing Jaromir Jagr like a lot of the Czechs did, but not tonight. Goniey, Petrie swings it across for Everly. Jordan Everly back to the point. Tom Gilbert with a wrist shot. Doesn't make it through as Reed knocked it down. And then Everly quickly coming back, tried to break up the play. Reed carrying on into the shift. His line mates have changed up. Everly will flip it in. He's going to head off. 2 minutes, 13 seconds left to go in this first period. Shen gave it away to Hall. Hall right out in front. Great save by Brizgalov as he absolutely robbed Ales Hemsky.
Best chance of the game for Edmonton. What's been a little bit of a sloppy first period for them. They're not making tape-to-tape passes. They're not getting shots through. And just some real hard work down the corner from Taylor Hall. Finds Hemsky in the slot, and he gets it away quick. Great save by Ilya Brizgalov, who hasn't seen a whole lot of difficult shots. He's had trouble with a few of them. He's bobbled a couple pucks, but this one here, rock solid, and no rebound to be had.
Belanger wins that draw. Back to Piarvi. Piarvi puts it towards the net. Kobina. Around the boards it goes. Voracek plays it to the middle, and the Flyers start away. And Riemsdyk chips it in against Tom Gilbert. Goes right after it. He'll play it around the near side. Waiting for it there is Voracek. Voracek. And Riemsdyk and Shen, the forward line now for the Philadelphia Flyers. Voracek behind the net. Back of Voracek. Raise it to Kobina. Fires a shot, and that gets deflected just wide. As Van Riemsdyk and Gilbert were in front, it went off Gilbert and went wide. Sutton takes a look. Gets to the red line. He'll dump it in. Pajärvi using that speed. Gets there ahead of Mazzaros. Now back to Potter. Hammers the shot. And Brizgalov got the stick in front of it and sent it up into the mesh.
Good job to jump into the play here for Corey Potter and get that shot away. He possesses a great one-timer, and it's always a great option for a player into the offensive zone to look back, see the defenseman jump up into the rush, and be there for the shot. Here it is here, and it just kind of develops. He gets it away. Great job by Brizgalov through Taylor once again to get down and make that save, deflected up over the glass.
Corey Potter missed 3 with that groin problem. Alashemsky trying to dance in against Claude Giroux. Giroux, right up the middle it goes to Hartland. Simmons carrying on, but a good stick there by Schmid prevented him from getting anything done. Paul back the other way. Less than a minute to go in the period. Sean Hortoff takes a bump there from Mazzaros. Hemsky behind the net. Hemsky against Grossman. Schmid steps into a quick shot, and with traffic in front provided by the captain, Brizgalov steers it aside. Paul will give it to Schmid one more time. Pass too hard for him. And the Oilers will have to regroup. Nicholas Grossman is a guy they'd have to go to for scouting reports. He's familiar with the Edmonton Oilers, having played with the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, playing parts for the last 5 years in Dallas, and was drafted originally by that team, and this is only his second team ever playing for. So he said it would be a little bit of an adjustment coming over to East, but he was excited to come to a team that's playing as well as Philadelphia has, and yeah, he said
have to regroup. Nicholas Grossman is a guy they'd have to go to for scouting reports. He's familiar with the Edmonton Oilers, having played with the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, playing parts for the last 5 years in Dallas, and was drafted originally by that team, and this is only his second team ever playing for. So he said it would be a little bit of an adjustment coming over to East, but he was excited to come to a team that's playing as well as Philadelphia has. And yeah, he said, I've seen these teams a lot here in this Western Roadsway, so I'll be giving a lot of advice. Coming over to East, but he was excited to come to a team that's playing as well as Philadelphia has. And yeah, he said, I've seen these teams a lot here in this Western Roadsway, so I'll be giving a lot of advice in the dressing room.
They'll be in Calgary on Saturday and into San Jose on Tuesday.
Advice in the dressing room.
They'll be in Calgary on Saturday and into San Jose on Tuesday.
No joke, he kind of looks like Matthias Nordstrom. He has the same size. He's a huge guy.
He and Kubina sit beside each other in the dressing room. I think the room tilts.
Back in the day when they had Jeff Bukaboom and Luke Richardson, a couple guys like that. The best we used to call them the Twin Towers, but those two guys give a whole new meaning to both big individuals.
The first period comes to an end.
Period is game 5, and the Stanley Cup final comes to an end.
14-9. But now, right at the buzzer, Jelly bumps in order first goal to Corey Potter, and the doors are coming open to let the Flyers off.
He's like, hey, wait a second, you got to go out over there by your bench. We go out here. But Jody shouted again, getting involved, got a little nip, a little scarred up on the nose. Always one to have a little conversation on the ice. Gives Corey Potter a hard time behind the net, so things heating up here late at the end of this first.
A busy night in the National Hockey League. And the guys at Hockey Central will get you caught up with all the action Saturday.
Duty to work with Mark Spector, and after first structured game, but he didn't have doing his nice first period. You saw elements from
scoring summary brought to you by Worley Parsons Cord, now hiring trades in oil country.
The most scoring in that first period, as Mark Spector said, 14 shots for the Flyers and 9 for the Oilers. So they did dictate a lot of the play. In the latter half of it, though, Edmonton started to generate some chances, getting pucks beat, and killed off 2 power plays to the boot to one of the hottest power play units in the National Hockey League. Brizgalov didn't face a whole lot, but at the end had to make a couple solid saves to keep it a 0-0 game.
Our ace statsman, Paul E.
But at the end had to make a couple solid saves to keep it a 0-0 game.
Our ace statsman, Paul E. Dangerously, who has his PhD in statistics, says that Philadelphia outchanced the Oilers in that first period 5-2.
That's about right.
He's never wrong.
He's never wrong.
The Oilers will play Phoenix on Saturday and then travel to
Game 6
The Oilers will play
on
Phoenix
Tuesday
on
in
Saturday
Philadelphia.
and then travel to Winnipeg
one more
For a game
game
against the
of the
Jets on Monday,
2011-2012
That game against
NHL
Phoenix,
season.
incidentally, is a Saturday afternoon contest.
The Flyers
The Phoenix Coyotes currently
will look for
in
their
Calgary to take on
Stanley Cup victory.
the Jets on Monday trade deadline day. And that game
And
against Phoenix,
the Edmonton
incidentally, is a
Oilers.
Saturday afternoon contest. The Phoenix
Stanley
Coyotes
Cup
currently
champions.
in Calgary to take on the
The
Flames.
1990
And it's 2-2
Stanley Cup run
in the second
against the
period.
Bruins.
Our second period is underway. Darcy Hordichuk, an impactful first period, did not play a lot, just over a minute, but he dropped the gloves with Jody Shelley. He's out there now to start this second period with Anton Lander and Leonard Petrell. Here's Hordichuk looking for the backhand. Darcy Hordichuk looking for his first goal of the season. Nicholas Grossman for Wellwood. Eric Wellwood lost an edge. Petrell keeps it in. Petrell with a shot. Steered aside by Brizgalov. Great shift for this fourth line to start this period.
Yeah, Ralph Kruger wants to set the tone right away, wants to get pucks deep, get bodies banging. That's exactly what the fourth line does. Goes out there, generates a couple chances. And see if the other lines can carry it over.
Hall, Hemsky, and Horkop out there now. As Hall, shot goes wide. Petrie and Schmid on the blue line. Alex Hemsky dancing along the line. Petrie keeps it in. He'll give it to Hemsky. Hemsky cross-ice for Hall. One-time shot. And that one rises over top of the cage. Horkop will give it to Hall one more time. Hall moves to the middle, lets the shot go, and it slides wide. Hemsky picks it up. Hemsky moving in. Alex Hemsky still has it, and now it's cleared down the ice by Lazaros. And the Flyers want to get a change.
Great follow-up shift by that top line of Edmonton to go out, dangle the puck down low, create a couple chances. Alex Hemsky had that puck on a string a couple times, set up Taylor Hall for that vicious one-timer.
Here's Eberle. Eberle, backhand! Brizgalov spreads across and makes the save. Eberle has it hop over his stick, now a 2-on-1. Simmons, Hartnell, back to Simmons, and that one goes over top of his stick. Can't blame the ice, Louis. We're just 2 minutes in.
Yeah, just almost a little bit of an unlucky bounce there is for Jeff Petrie. Loves to jump up into the rush, and a little turnover at the blue line. Eberle just can't handle it, gets out, but a great rush from defense to offense, stretch past to Eberle. Goes to the backhand, just can't close the deal. Great job by Coburn not to take the penalty, get the stick in there deep enough to break up that play, and this one just jumps over the stick of Wayne Simmons on the 2-on-1 coming back the other way. So things starting to open up a little bit here in this second period.
Wayne Simmons with 22 goals on the season, the first time he has cracked the 20-goal barrier. And he is currently on a 3-game point streak. Ryan Whitney to Goniey. Eberle getting it back to him. And there is another bouncing puck. Eberle behind the net. He gets tripped up and a penalty coming. And the Oilers get their first opportunity for the power play as the new guy, Kavina, is headed to the box.
Shifts in succession, exactly what the Oilers were looking for to come out. Get 3 shifts in a row. Puck goes into the offensive zone. And the long stick of Kavina again just gets in the wrong area. Takes down Jordan Eberle, keeps his feet moving. And after 3 good shifts, the Oilers draw a penalty and get their first power play of the game.
A power play that is ranked 4th in the league. It is number 3 at home. And it goes to work for the first time in this game. Great play by Hall to keep it in. With Eberle, Horkop, Goniey. Goniey bouncing puck for Hall. The shot has gone off the save. Hall with 11 power play goals on the season. Here's Horkop's shot. A bouncing puck picked up by Eberle. Jordan Eberle turns, gives it back to Hall at the point. Hall to Eberle. Eberle dances his way in, fires a wrist shot that goes over top of the cage. Hall keeps it in at the point. Down low for Goniey, and looking for Eberle. And the Oilers will regroup. And Louis, you talked about keeping momentum going. It's carrying over into this power play. Hall with it now. Hall being watched closely there by Voracek. Eberle got Horkop back door. And Hall does a great job of keeping it in against Voracek. Now back to the point. Whitney waits. Eberle's got it. Gives it to Goniey. Goniey side of the cage, trying to flip it out in front for Horkop. Still alive. Timonen was flat. Here's Whitney's shot, races wide. Hall with a shot, he scores! Give Taylor by Voracek. Eberle got Horkop back door. And Hall does a great job of keeping it in against Voracek. Now back to the point. Whitby waits. Everly's got it. Gives it to Goniey. Goniey, side of the kick. Now back door. And Hall does a great job of keeping it in against Voracek. Now back to the point. Whitby waits. Everly's got it. Gives it to Goniey. Goniey, side of the cage. Trying to flip it out in front for Hornbach. Still alive. Timonen was flat. Here's Whitney's shot. Races wide. Hall still alive. Team in the cage. Trying to flip it out in front for Hornbach. Is make 22 in the second period. Kept in by Kubina. Here the wave under Gala. The net, Andy Sutton has a chance to settle things down.
A good point. Real nice push back there by the Flyers to come out, generate that chance. It's great. Shen on the breakaway. Terrific save by by Devin Dubin. And that wasn't an easy one. Right from the get-go, he gets sent in all alone.
He's got 8 goals on the season. Hartnell with it now. He's got Simmons out in front. The top line for the Flyers on the ice. Hartnell, Giroux, and Simmons. Carl back to pick it up. Carl averaging almost about 23 minutes a game for the Flyers. The Oilers got 4 shots on that power play. Against Speed.
Tries to go with the quick shot on Dubin, but look at the poise of Devin Dubin, just holding on to his ground, out in the blue paint, cutting down the angle, and that quick little reaction to get down and deny Shen the breakaway and keep it a 1-0 game. Big save.
Came in without a point in his last 3 games. Grossman chips that up with the radio dumping in. Briere got the net on that. Younger carries on. Younger backhand attempt there by Briere. To the corner it goes. Jaromir Jagr. Reeves snaps the shot, and that one goes wide. Alex Hemsky picks it up, trying to get it by Grossman. Can't do it. Nicholas Grossman throws it towards the front of the net. Ends up going up over top. But he's got it again. Steps into a slap shot this time, and it rises over the cage. He's got a boomer. This guy's... Well, you talked about 6'4", 234 pounds he put behind that shot. Tellis, Oilers hockey right here. 34 pounds he put behind that shot. Tellis, Oilers hockey right here.
Game 5 here.
In the building as he continues to recover after being hit in the head by a puck and suffering what we believe to be is a concussion. Well, the Philadelphia Flyers, James Van Riemsdyk is one of them, have suffered a total of 7 concussions this season, and that includes Claude Giroux, who missed 4 games because of it. What he's done to try and soften the blow is to try this new Bauer helmet. And the way he described it was that in the old helmet he would get hit and everything would kind of rattle inside. Well, now this new helmet is so tight that when he does get hit, there's very little movement with the head, and subsequently the brain.
And, Gene, the next question you have to find out about is Tom Running. When he comes back, does he have to do his famous U test, the drop-off test?
The dreaded drop-off.
And it looks like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins might have to do that test. He is close to coming back into the lineup.
I was always jealous of guys like that. He could probably do that with his eyes closed, no problem at all.
Andre shot and save. He's got it.
The test. Like Hopkins can see that they win.
Here's another 2-on-1. Voracek backhand. Dubnyk makes the save. Devin Dubnyk is confused twice here in the second period. But Ross Woodley not going to like the fact that his team has given up 2 2-on-1s. Wayne Simmons coming from the net. The Flyers come again. Goniey slap shot. Goniey wins the shoots. He's got you.
Their third of the Let's Go Oilers chant.
They attack when they have the Flyers.
Emotion, Billy.
Score. They really attack when they have chances. This is a great move by Voracek on the 2-on-1. Goes to the backhand. Dubnik has to regain an edge and get back across quickly to get 2-on-1. Goes to the backhand. Dubnik has to regain an edge and get back across quickly to get that pad out and deny Voracek of that chance. Just off the end and deny Voracek of that chance. Just off the end of the stick, and because he was there wasn't much to shoot on. Got a little bit of delay by Voracek at the end of the stick. It was a real quality chance. They needed a transition to build up the flag. Voracek a little bit of the puck is the side of the net. Youngers trying to take advantage. Tight screen, and Ottawa got it. Stick with the gun.
Philadelphia Flyers, the team that with the puck now, the Army stays against Carl, gets it for Eager, he is cut off, and it's picked up there by Smith. Silly, drops it down the ice, Ryan Whitney takes it over his shoulder, he's back, he's got Voracek all over. That pass intended for Eager. Billy of Edmonton is like the three-club car, the Apple Safeway and Quaker Chewy Bars. You've won the Legacy and 9-piece footwear set on the goal, the power play marker by Taylor Hall. The Catherine Lindbergh, we have a set on the goal, the power play marker by Taylor Hall. The Catherine Lindbergh, we haven't forgot about you. He entered the score win contest and has won a Sharp Aquas 3D Blu-ray disc player, courtesy of Safeway and Quaker Chewy Bars, on the 27th goal of the season for Jordan Eberle.
By Irish Redskins.
The Oilers outshoot the contest by Taylor Hall. Final milli of save by Briscoe, and he will hang on to it. Offside. Final milli of Edmonton is swiped the free club card. The opposite way of Quaker Cheetahs. He won the Legacy in 90 sprinkler set on the goal. The power play marker by Taylor Hall. But Captain Lindbergh, we haven't forgot about you. He entered the scoring contest and then won a Shark Active 3D Blu-ray disc player, courtesy of Safeway and Quaker Cheetahs on the 27th goal of the season for Jordan Everett. The Oilers outshooting the Flyers 9-2 to this point. Remember, the Flyers had 55 in their last game in Winnipeg. Simmons has had some good opportunities. He loses the puck, and here comes Hensky. Alex Hensky stops. There's a shot. A rebound for Horcoff. Stopped by Briscoe. Petrie forward. Trying to keep it in. And what a job by Jeff Petrie. And he's not out there against the fourth line. Here comes Hensky. Dangling. Hensky. Trying to get it back to Horcoff. Carton to Giroux. Giroux looking for Simmons. Gets the puck back again. Now tries to feed it in front. Simmons. To the middle it goes. Kabina. Pavel Kabina. Lost the handle. Now Simmons on the pickpocket play and Ladislav Schmid. Hartnell's centering pass went off Horcoff. Got Horcoff. Will get it to Alex Hensky. Looking for Hall. It was broken up at the last second there by Carl. Great action here at Rexall Place. Jeff Petrie, Edmonton, from his butt, makes some great...
Louder, Edmonton.
From his
This is a Stanley Cup final
makes some
game.
great defensive play.
This is a Stanley
From
Cup
his
final. Here,
Makes some great...
Well, Tuesday, while Wayne Simmons was scoring in Winnipeg, Sam Goniey was scoring in Calgary, and they've just continued the trend that has been a result of what's been a great month for both of these young kids. Goniey with 9 goals, 9 assists. Wayne Simmons, 9 goals, 3 assists. And, of course, let's not forget Louis Jordan Everly, who's just bumped himself up to 8 goals in this month.
Yeah, and 18 points in the month of February for Sam Goniey. Who can forget the 4-goal, 8-point night back on February 2nd versus the Chicago Blackhawks. But he's continued that hot hand into this game tonight. Getting it done.
These guys will wish that February had 31 days.
Get the 60.
9 minutes to go here in the second period. The Oilers with 2 goals. Taylor Hall and Jordan Everly.
It's funny, you see these two teams, they haven't seen each other and they're starting to open up, but Edmonton loves to play this game along with the Flyers, and great chances at both ends. I don't know if Ralph Kruger likes it too much to compare the bench, or Peter Laviolette for that matter, but sure is exciting to watch.
Reed trying to get it by Potter, can't do it. Now we'll give it to Carl, gives it to Gabino, whips it around the boards, and all the way down the ice. No icing. Ryan Smith's going to go back and get it. 19-17, the shots favor the Oilers. They were outshot 14-9 in that first period. Up the middle for Biardi. He is checked. Ryan Smith carries on, cuts it into the corner. There's Gala. Takes it away from Belanca. And he's using the block to get it by Ben Eagle. Winding up with Voracek. Voracek checked by Belanca. Shin shoots the puck in. Dennis Dugan. Now to Tom Gilbert. Quickly to Biardi. He gets knocked down there by Navarez. And carrying on is Belanca. Chris Buxton with Eager. Here's the Eager shot. Makes the save. Ben Eager with a great burst of speed. Set up by Eric Belanca. Voracek given a bump by Sutton. And Ringsdale behind the net. Gets checked by Belanca. Voracek looking for Shin. That's intercepted by Sutton. He ties that up, but Shin worked it loose. And Ringsdale sends it around the near side. Grossman got it. Grossman. And Ringsdale from the corner. Works it to the middle. There is Magnus Biardi to pick it up. Biardi. As the Oilers make changes, crosses the blue line. He is checked. Back the other way. Here comes Wayne Simmons. He has been dangerous in this period. Shin behind the net. Hartnell looking for it. Cuts it off. Hartnell. Shin, quick shot. Dubnik makes the save. The rebound followed up there by Jeff Petrie. Horcoff looking for Hensky. Alex Hensky against that Carl. Carl spins it around the boards. Hall intercepts. Hall trying to get it to Horcoff. shot was picked off by Simmons, and here is Giroux. Giroux put it off the skate of Jeff Petrie. Speed and Petrie against the top line for the Philadelphia Flyers. And one of the best lines in the NHL when it comes to production. Late offside, Sneed will give it to Hall. Hall with some speed. He get across the blue line. He lost it. Simmons chips it in. Jody Shelley going after it against Petrie. Now Sneed. Kept in by Coburn. Not quite.
Get your game on with Sports Select.
Well, Benninger had another terrific chance here. It was a great pass by Belanger through 3 Philadelphia Flyers to a streaking Benninger. He gets it away in a hurry, but great job by Brizgalov to read it and be right there to stone him on the doorstep. And for Benninger getting some more time on that third line. It was Piardi on that chip on the second effort to get that puck up to Belanger and create that opportunity.
2-0 here at Rexall Place. Telus Oilers hockey on the net in 5.
On trade deadline day. Trade.
So, here in the second period, the Oilers with 20 shots and a 2-0 lead. The air shot goes all the way through, and the Flyers will have to regroup. And it's Grossman. Poirier out there with Yager and Reed. And it's brought in offside. The other line. Let's step out on the Rexall Place. Telus Oilers hockey.
The KHL for 3 years. Who knows what his numbers would be like if he'd stayed in the National Hockey League, but they still are impressive when you compare them in regards to some of the Edmonton Oilers. First off, the 3 longest-serving Oilers, excluding Ryan Smith's tenure away for a short time. Look at the games and points as they just have a few more than him. And look at the 17 Oilers, excluding Ryan Smith, the 18 skaters tonight. They have 682 goals. Yager himself has 662. So he has been effective for a long, long time. And he is once again, as he's returned to Pennsylvania, but not to Pittsburgh.
And it looks like he's sort of found his desire to stay and work out and work hard. He's got the keys to the facility in Breweries in New Jersey where the Flyers practice, and they say that he goes and works out at night. 40 years old, I guess that's what you got to do. Hey, Lou? Hey, Lou? Hey, Lou? Bankers beyond the puck now. Sharp angle shot. Went off Grossman. Came right to Whitney. Whitney for Eager. And that great chance earlier set up by the guy who has the puck now, Eric Belanger. Belanger from the corner. To the near side it comes. Nicholas Grossman takes it up from Eager as he gets the puck down the ice. Ryan Whitney going back to gather it up. And that's going to be another icing call. And we've got more Yager tails from Gino.
Well, you know what, Kevin, just playing off your terms about him having the opportunity to work out whenever he wants. Yesterday, the Flyers practiced, and many of the players were off the ice for probably 20 to 30 minutes before Jaromir Jagr came off the ice. And he, to Philadelphia, is kind of like what Ryan Smith is to Edmonton. One of the off the ice to
from Gino.
Well, you know what?
Call.
Playing off your
more Yager tails from Gino.
Well, you know what, Kevin? Just playing.
We got Stanley more Yager tails from Gino.
Well, you know what, Kevin? Just playing off
more Yager tails, and that's going to be another icing call. And we've got Yager back to gather it up, and Gino.
Well, you know.
Icing call, and we've got Stanley Cup more Yager tails from Gino, and another icing call. Ryan Whitney going back to gather it up.
To work out whenever he wants. Yesterday, the Flyers practiced, and many of the players were off the ice for probably 20 to 30 minutes before Jaromir Jagr came off the ice. And he, to Philadelphia, is kind of like what Ryan Smith is to Edmonton. One of the older players, Smith the oldest forward, but continues to play the game and act like he's still a young man.
Going wide, shot play by Smith, going right through the crease. Everything was tied up by Mazzaro. Back the other way come the Flyers. Mazaro's long shot. Devin Dubnyk handles that easily, and he'll hang on to it.
The breadbasket, good job.
Dubnyk handles that. The other way come the Flyers. Mazaro's long shot. Devin Dubnyk handles that easily, and he'll hang on to it.
The breadbasket, good job to keep that shot to the angle on the outside. Mazaros had enough of the defensive zone. He iced the puck the first time, but decides to get it up the ice himself and get the face off in the offensive zone. Great move here by Goniey. Watch him go inside, outside the little hop to get over the stick, and he puts this right through the crease. On a good opportunity to create that skill.
Sam Goniey, 19 points.
The stick, and he puts this right through the crease. On a good opportunity to create that skill.
Sam Goniey, 19 points in his last 10 games. And now an issue with the glass. And, well, we got Jaromir Jagr, 662 goals. Louis, now we've got time to talk about your goals. Hey, let's just the
Quaker to
darn positive. The referee from all angles.
One-on-one now against Kimmo Timonen. Everly stops up, lets the shot go, went off Timonen. Carrying on is Ryan Smith. Now bouncing puck is picked up by Van Riemsdyk. He'll give it to Talbot. Talbot snaps the shot. It goes off Gilbert. Andy Sutton lays it around the boards, but there is Coburn. Backhand by Talbot goes wide. Ryan Smith drops it for Goniey. Sam Goniey takes a look, trying to get it back to Smith, and there is Brizgala, very aggressive. Went out and cut off that pass. Now Wellwood. Eric Wellwood tries to move the puck to the middle. Now there was Ryan Whitney to take down Van Riemsdyk. Korkhoff flips it in. Hemsky going after it against Carl. Carl gets there first. Gets it by Hall. Can't get it by Potter. Potter, snapshot up high on Brizgala. Looking on the shoulder. Hemsky with it now. Alex Hemsky plays it back to the point. Corey Potter with a wrist shot this time. Korkhoff cuts it off. Kern and the shot went wide. Hemsky aggressive to try and keep it in against Carl. Hemsky, Korkhoff, and Hall with some chemistry in this last couple of games. Here is Hemsky keeping it in. Korkhoff waits for it behind the net. Korkhoff works it back to Potter, but it was cut off there by Hartnell. And then Potter knocked down Hartnell, and he might have to pay the price for it because Simmons and back to Potter, but it was cut off there by Hartnell. And then Potter knocked down Hartnell, and he might have to pay the price for it because Simmons and here's Banger. Eager centers it. Scores! Continue. Now Dubnyk comes out to cut it off from Scott Hartnell. They have to pay the price for it because Simmons and Hartnell were going after it while play continued. Now Dubnyk comes out to cut it off from Scott Hartnell. Can't get it by Simmons though. Hartnell were going after it while play continued. Now Dubnyk. And then Potter knocked down Hartnell, and he might have to pay the price for it because Simmons and we're going after it while play continues. Now Dubnyk comes out to cut it off and knock down Hartnell, and he might have to pay the price for it because Simmons. the stick of Goniey. One continues. Right over here with under 2 minutes to go. Leach on the shot. Can't do it. Now with Goniey. Got a lead here. He'll start away. Once again, it gets close from there. It's Hartnell taking a left. Goniey at Goniey's head. Scott Hartnell's going to go to the penalty box. And the concern is what next for Marcus Goniey. Neil Lee and Hartnell was upset by the hit on Potter.
He really stuck it out there. Darcy Hordichuk having some words. And this all stemmed from the hit from Potter up the circle. And Hartnell got up. He was angry when after Potter didn't engage when he came down at the last second. Going to the bench, he takes a vicious run at PRV. And he doesn't look good. Regulated pitch. He stayed. I can't believe this is only a 2-minute penalty, actually, as he goes right into the knee. And, I mean, these are the hits that you don't like to see when you go knee on knee, but the defender will have to see whether or not he sticks that knee out or else just catches him coming through. It looks like his foot was planted, but definite knee-on-knee contact with PRV. And he was in a lot of pain going down the tunnel.
It comes with 1:36 to go in the second period. 2 minutes for kneeing, and this is why Hartnell was upset.
And this is the pitch down by Potter as he catches Hartnell coming up the ice. And after that was Carl, Cabina, Simmons, Hartnell all take a run at Potter, and he's like, you know what, he jumped into the play. And I mean, seeing play going down, this play is broken up as when Hartnell going to the bench has PRV in the sights and catches him with the knee.
Now this is one of those power plays, and you want to connect on for the Oilers with their second power play. 1 for 1. Here's a pass from Eberle looking for Taylor Hall. Knocked over his stick. He gets knocked down by Calder. Volkov and Newman come together. It comes back to Whitney. Steps into a slap shot. Back to Whitney again. Whitney. Slap pass for Eberle. Eberle. Quick shot by Goniey. Right over top of the team. Whitney racing over the Cavalier. 42 seconds to go in the period. Taylor Hall in the front now. Hall really rips down. That was blocked before it could get through. And that hurt Andre Mazares. So Timo Timo. Eberle with it again. Back in the front. Ryan Whitney moves to the middle. He'll give it right back to number 14. Eberle. Goniey looking for Horcock. A bouncing puck. Here's Eberle's shot. He's giving away. It's still alive. And now the whistle goes. Talbot ended up on top of Goniey, took his helmet off. Now everybody's in it. Goniey took his helmet off. Now everybody's in it.
Draws to an end.
Talbot went for the big splash on Goniey.
I was like the elbow. Better heads prevail afterwards, but
He's got face-off just outside the blue line with 19.7 seconds to go. And still 42 seconds of power play.
The period is over.
Steve Smith
Point every Oilers.
with Potter and Peachy.
Tied the series at 2.
The Oilers will have a third period with a power play. They'll have 24 seconds of power play
to regain it.
Trey Trucker will come up right after the break. It's Fellas Oilers Hockey here on Sportsnet from Rexall after the break. It's Fellas Oilers Hockey here on Sportsnet from Rexall.
Sportsnet is the place to be for Friday night hockey. It features the Western Hockey League tomorrow night as the Kootenay Ice visit the Eastern Division second place team, the Saskatoon Blades. Catch the action on Sportsnet 1 and Sportsnet West at 6 p.m. Mountain, and that is tomorrow. Meanwhile, on Saturday, Telus Oilers Hockey is back with an afternoon matinee as Edmonton hosts the Phoenix Coyotes, starting with our pregame show at 1:30 p.m. Mountain on Sportsnet West. Well, Scott Hartnell is one of the best power forwards, I think, in the National Hockey League. But I don't know if he did one of the best things in that period, but he really got fired up.
Yeah, Scotty Hartnell has become the heartbeat of this team. The Philadelphia team started out with a big core of guys. Well, they shipped out Richards, they shipped out Carter, they moved Lupul, they moved a couple other guys, and Scotty Hartnell has become a bit of the heartbeat of this team. He is the kind of guy that if you throw the kind of hits that Corey Potter lays on him, boom, right there, he's not going to forget about it. I'm not saying he's always going to do the smartest thing, but he's the kind of guy that looks down at the front of that Flyers jersey and says, we don't stand around and get hit like that. And I like that in Scotty Hartnell. This hit on Magnus Barbie, I'm not sure I like that nearly so much. I'll say this, though, Gino. Brendan Shanahan hadn't had much to do lately. The trade deadline's kind of overshadowed him. He may find a little bit of work on this hit.
Well, when Scott Hartnell got invited to the NHL All-Star game, he actually received a text from Brendan Shanahan. At first, he thought he was in trouble. Well, when he receives a text this time, he might be in trouble. Philadelphia Flyers lead the NHL in penalty minutes, closing in on 1,000. Scott Hartnell's one of the reasons they're a big, tough team, but you have to like the way the Oilers have stood up to them. And have they done that in your mind?
Oh, absolutely. This is an Oilers team that I've done some talk radio in this town the last few years, and Oilers fans are sick and tired of watching teams like Philly come in here and push them around. Well, that's not happening tonight. Sure, Philly's landed some blows, but the Oilers are giving them back just as good. This is a tougher, harder to play against Oilers team. They got a couple of guys that'll drop the mitts like that, and you just can't come into Rexall Place anymore and push the Oilers around. Philadelphia's finding that out tonight.
Well, you know what? It's only so far through two periods, Mark. 18 penalty minutes on the part of these two teams. I have a feeling there may be a few more coming up in the third period of play. Let's join Louis and Kevin for period number 3.
All right, guys, in this third period, we'll start with the Oilers on the power play for the next 23 seconds because of that mean penalty that Scott Hartnell took. And Magnus P.R.B. went down the tunnel, and we'll try and get an update on his condition as soon as possible. The Oilers are down. The Oilers 1 for 1 with the man advantage. They now have 46 goals on the year. They came in third in the league in power play goals. Overtime win. And the third best power play at home. Cardinals out of the penalty box. Teams at even strength. Jordan Everett has one of the two Oiler goals. He and Taylor Hall getting goals in that second period. Ryan Whitney to Ryan Smith. Smith waits, throws it toward the net. That hit Goniey. He was tied up there by Pavel Kabina. Now back the other way. Here comes Hartnell. He'll hear it from the Rexall faithful here. Simmons to Hartnell. Shot. Devin Dubnyk. The first big save of this period. Simmons has got it again. Steps into a slap shot. This time it's blocked by Corey Potter. Giroux in the corner. Whistles it out front, looking for Hartnell. Broken up by Potter. Kept in, though, by the Flyers. Hartnell. Centering pass. Giroux's got it. Pushes it towards the net. There is Simmons. Another crack at it. Dubnyk stands his ground. The puck's underneath him. Hartnell poking at it, but he gets the whistle.
No enemy.
Let's take a look at tonight's scoring summaries brought to you by Worley Parsons Scores. Now hiring trades in oil country.
Well, the first period, there was no scoring between the two teams, but in the second period, it was Taylor Hall with his 22nd and Jordan Everly with his 27th to give the Oilers a 2-0 lead. That's how it stands into the third period here. And Devin Dubnyk with a terrific save early on Scott Hartnell, who's had a busy night tonight.
The only time that it's done, Devin Dubnyk has faced this team before was last March, the game in Philadelphia. The Oilers lost that game 4-1. And Louis, if I remember correctly, you lost a pen in that game.
There's a Flyers fan somewhere that's wondering where that came from.
Alashevsky, Taylor Hall, and a good defensive play there by Kimmo Timonen. Gilbert behind the net. Horkoff. Back up 3 for Whitney. They'll play it around the boards. Tom Gilbert on the other side keeps it in, avoids the big hit. Hemsky behind the net, comes right out in front. And another good defensive play as Hall was looking for it, but Timonen was there again. Reed. He is stopped before he can get the puck in. Has it again.
Devin Dubnyk had to be really aggressive on Jaromir Jagr on the side of the doorstep there after that first shot. The rebound right to Jagr, held it for a second. And Dubnyk with another great save.
Good speed there by Voracek. He is stopped. Schenn with the puck now. Turns towards it towards the net. Stick save by Dubnyk. Voracek going after Speed. Speed gets the puck to the point, goes further. Now on the near side, an opportunity for Ben Eager. Plays it off the boards. Can't get it by Kubina. Eager. Belanger joined by Petrell. Eager will bring it in himself. Gets taken out and then throws down Matt Carl. Kubina runs into Belanger. Here's Voracek. Nice little bump. Trying to get the puck over to Van Riemsdyk. That line is going to change. Simmons on the ice now. Carl. Right up the middle for Simmons. Scramble. And it's Everly who strikes back quickly. He and Goniey crisscross. Here's Smith. Steps into a shot. Chris Golov steers that aside. Giroux. To Simmons. Wayne Simmons stops up inside the blue line. Pass intercepted. Smith finds Goniey near side. Here's Goniey against Timo Timonen. Carl, one-hand pass to Simmons. Wayne Simmons gets inside the blue line. He will dump it in. Dubnyk stops it, takes a look, and then lost it. Almost intercepted by the most dangerous player for the Philadelphia Flyers, and that's Claude Giroux. Kemsky gets knocked down by Mazaros. Jagr. He finds Mazaros, but instead it was Giroux who was offside.
For Alex Hemsky, a little bit more vicious pace to this third period. Here's a cross check by Coburn. Catches him under the arm in the rib area. Looks back, shakes it off a little bit, but it's a pretty good one that catches him in that kidney area, in the rib area. Little grimace on his face, and then here's the stand up by Mazaros. Another cross check of the arm area. So he's wondering, there's that facial cross check of the arm area. It's on his face, and then here's the stand up by Mazaros. Another cross check of the arm area. He's wondering, there's that facial expression. You know he's feeling it a little bit. Had a great game tonight, Hemsky, so far. Puck on a string for him. Expression, you know he's feeling it a little bit. Had a great game tonight, Hemsky, so far. Puck on a string for him. To the arm area. So he's wondering, there's that facial expression. You know he's feeling it a little bit. Had a great game tonight, Hemsky, so far. Puck on a string for him. And now he's starting to become a little bit more of a target. They're keen on him.
He's out there now with Horkoff and Hall. Alex Hemsky. Drop pass for Hall that was broken up by Mazaros. Mazaros, another cross check on Hemsky. Pass for Briere, bounces right to Dubnyk, and he will hang on to it.
Well, bring your own cheering section with Esso Minor Hockey Nights. Minor hockey or ringette teams can enjoy an Oilers home game. Special pricing and seating are reserved for Wednesday night, February 29th, as the Oilers will host the St. Louis Blues. And then again on March 14th, when the Columbus Blue Jackets come to town. Call 414-GOAL. That's 414-4625 to get your tickets today.
14th time that the Edmonton Oilers have faced an Eastern Conference opponent. And they are 5-6-2.
14th, when the Columbus Blue Jackets come to town. Call 414-GOAL. That's 414-4625 to get your tickets today.
14th time that the Edmonton Oilers have faced an Eastern Conference opponent. And they are 5-6-2.
Final.
Opponent, 14th time that the Edmonton Oilers have faced an Eastern Conference opponent. And they are 5-6-2. They will face another Eastern Conference opponent, the Winnipeg Jets, on Monday. It's kind of strange to say that they're in the East, but for now. Gone in this third period. Tom Gilbert takes a hit on Schenn. Back the other way. Voracek snapshot. Dubnyk the save, and then it got fired. And Riemsdyk was looking for a stick in the face. Voracek. Schenn in front. And Riemsdyk back to Kubina. Quick shot now. Then Dubnyk's got it. And he will hang on to it. Now a little pushing and shoving. Van Riemsdyk and Sutton.
I think that might have been from the stick afterwards on the rebound. It was a shot from Voracek that gets up high on Dubnyk, comes out, cuts the angle. Now you see him shaking his head there a little bit afterwards. And then right here, what? That stick to the face. Van Riemsdyk catches him in the grill. Doesn't even phase him. Just kind of stays with the game. When you're having a good game like Dubnyk is right now, he reacts a little bit, gets right back focused on the puck. And the Philadelphia Flyers have definitely come out hungry and aggressive in this third period, Kevin. They're all over Edmonton in the offensive zone. They're aggressively forechecking. They've gotten more physical. And you saw Shannon, that Philadelphia Flyers doesn't even phase him. Just kind of stays with the game. When you're having a good game like Dubnyk is right now, he reacts a little. Just kind of stays with the game. When you're having a good game like Dubnyk is right now, he reacts a little bit, gets right back focused on the puck. And the Philadelphia Flyers have definitely come out hungry and aggressive in this third period, Kevin. They're all over Edmonton in the offensive zone. They're aggressively forechecking. They've gotten more physical. And you saw Shannon that last little sequence there. They're looking for hits. They're looking to bang bodies. And they're not trying to take the goal out as well. But the last three goals. Passing is up to that right. The Flyers will have to regroup. Over and will play that here. Dubnyk backs it up for Park. Connor and Whitney on the blue line. Goniey, Smith, and Edley up front. Reed keeps it in. Connor. Behind the net it goes. There is Jaromir Jagr. Hanging on to it. Here's Goniey. Jagr now battles with Parker. Here. Sends it around the near side. Over. Keeps it in against Reggie Smith. Far side. It's right for Edley to get it in. And he will. Flyers, the third best road team in the National Hockey League, with 19 wins coming into this one. Hall with the puck against Grossman, and Grossman kicks down Taylor Hall. And play continues. Taking this as a very good knocked down by Smith. It's intercepted by Petrie, but picked up there behind the net by Zimmer. There's a lead for Zimmer. He's behind the net. Now he's under the pin. Got Hall centering pass. He's picked off there by Smith. Now Smith will play it and gets deflected up into the net. Nicholas Grossman, familiar with Taylor Hall. He stays in Dallas. Kicks him down hard right here.
Here, Stanley Final.
No item in your YouTube video player group. Cheers for the home team from the home team. Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Just over 13 minutes to go here in regulation time.
For the third period.
With a 2-0 lead, all the offense in the second period.
A 1-0 lead in the second period.
They shut down a team that has scored 197 goals so far this season.
They go 3-0.
Grossman. Belanger, Lander, and Petrell. Shelley trying to get it in against Gilbert. Gilbert stops it up. And carrying on is Talbot. Talbot steps into his own shot. Almost rebound. Kicked out by Devin Dubnyk. Back to the point it goes. Here's Grossman's shot, and that one whistles wide. Grossman can enter the puck. Petrell gets it down the ice. That allows the others to make a change. And they're getting Horkoff and Hensky up there now. Voracek. Trapped by Horkoff. Moving in against Parker. And Riemsdyk, Shen, and Voracek the forward line for the Philadelphia Flyers. They want to change up anyway. They'll send out Edley, Smith, and Goniey. Timo Tiedemann. And deep. Puck comes to the near side, and it's going to be Sam Goniey. Goniey lays it off the wall, trying to get it by. Briere, he does. Smith picked up by Colbert. Here's Jagr. Colbert finds Jagr. Tries to muscle his way by Edley. Does get the pass to Briere. Briere goes cross ice for Reed. His shot deflected by Petrie and ends up going into the netting.
Tonight's Safeway $1 million score and win grand prize. Tonight's
Petrie and ends up going into the netting.
Tonight's Safeway $1 million score and win grand prize winner will receive a 52-inch Sharp Atmos TV with Quadtron technology. Tonight's grand prize winner is Heather Young of Fort McMurray. Congratulations, Heather. Shop and swipe at Safeway and you could be our next lucky winner.
The last time the Oilers and the Flyers met here in Edmonton, you've got to go back to February 3rd, 2010. The Oilers did not allow a goal in that game. Poirier lines up against Belanger. Belanger directing traffic. Leonard Petrell getting extra duty in the absence of Bankus Tiarbi on that line, along with Ben Eager. And Ben Eager hustling down, trying to negate that icing. It doesn't happen. 10. To muscle his way by Eberle. He does get deflected by Petrie and ends up going into the netting. By Eberle, does get the pass to Briere. Briere goes topside for Reed. His shot deflected by Petrie and ends up going into the netting. Deflected by Petrie and ends up going into the netting.
Shoots. He scores!
Tonight's Safeway $1 million.
Jeff Petrie! What a goal!
Grand prize winner will receive a 52-inch Sharp Atmos TV with Quadtron technology. Tonight's grand prize winner is Heather Young of Fort McMurray. Congratulations, Heather. Shop and swipe at Safeway and you could be our next lucky winner.
Last time the Oilers and the met here at Edmonton. You got to go back to February 3rd.
Safeway and you could be our next lucky winner.
After February. Leonard Petrell against Belanger.
Petrell and Ryan Smith.
Leonard Petrell getting extra duty in the absence of
One, two of the season.
along with Ben Eager.
And in the postseason.
Trying to get that icing. It doesn't happen.
Get your game on with Sports Select.
And for those that have watched the Calgary Phoenix game, we welcome you. A matchup here at Rexall Place. 10:53 to go in the third period. The Oilers with a 2-0 lead. Phoenix Coyotes winning that game in a shootout. They will be the opponent here for the Oilers on Saturday in an afternoon game. And we'll have for it. It is a 1-3 p.m. Mountain Time. And with our pregame show, and then bring you the Coyotes and the Oilers their last home game before the trade deadline. Winnipeg on that Monday. Argo is 8-1 through 30 minutes in the dot. There's an Argo 10 when it comes to faceoff. Opportunity here. He can get tossed out on the control. Well, step in. And Giroux. Giroux leads back. Swinging back to the point. Savina has it towards the net. And the movement will cover it up. And now a little pushing and shoving. Wayne Simmons and Corey Potter. And you know that stems from Potter's hit on Scott Hartnell. Now Potter and Hartnell have some words. And now the ref has seen enough. Whitney and Hartnell are going to the box. Both of them will sit.
Well, this might be going on for a little while longer, so while they have the chance, let's update you on our Telesoptic TV Power Poll. We wanted to know if you were Steve Tambellini at the trade deadline, what would you do, buy, sell, or would you just stay put? At this point, sell is leading the way, buy is in last, and stay put is somewhere in between. We'll find out by February 27th. So here's the those that text their choices to 333-777. Good luck.
Always. Steppers flaring here in the stands. On the exit in the stands, you don't expect him to Philadelphia is in town. It doesn't happen that often. And a Flyer fan up on the glass and behind Peter Laviolette giving the referee a little bit of business. They didn't like the calls. Not sure exactly what he's too upset about, but he's getting escorted out of the building. But the last 3 goals have brought some rally fans to the building. Go 4-on-4 now. By Briere, and Briere works it out to center. Leach to Ryan Smith. Smith moving in against Matt Carl. Carl wins it against the boards. The puck on 3. Averdavina gives it right back to Carl. Smith from Belanger up front. It is Petrie and Gilbert on the point. Davina to Yager. Yager. The last score by Ryan Smith. They'll give it to Davina. Davina. To Briere. Briere crisscrossing with Young. Young going wide on punch. Gets by Hogan and waits for it. Palazzi's got a 2-on-1 development with Smith. Palazzi with the puck. At the point. High to Smith. Smith the puck. Smith saves it down. Smith back to left around. Younger back the other way. And now is off the boards. Great sequence here in Rexall. As moving in was Corey Potter. Ryan Smith to Potter. Potter's 31 shots the way it did him. Outstanding. 31 seconds left with 4-on-4. Eberle and Goniey are up front, and Goniey wins that draw. Goniey, he won it 2 clean. 12 goals in the postseason. Back all over here.
Ryan Smith at 19. Tied with Reggie Leach.
Gonzalez takes it into the boards. Grossman.
One more goal for Ryan Smith to surpass.
He and Eberle pushing Reggie Leach. Comes free. And then Greenbelt picks it up. He is checked by Petrie. And back comes Eberle with Goniey. Goniey with a wrist shot. Rizgalov will cover up and hang on.
Ready to sell? RE/MAX agents have the experience to get the job done in today's market. Visit remax.ca today.
Jimmy Brizgalov has won 10 of his 21 games on the road. This is a guy that signed a 9-year, $51 million contract. Similar to the one Louis recently. I think you have a nice save there. Sam Goniey, nice little give and go with Eberle to get it through Brizgalov.
Here's Ryan Smith. He scores! He scores! 20 scores! the number one all-time goal scorer in a single playoff game. 20 goals and 23 assists. 5-0 Edmonton. Of the playoffs. He has now broken a record of Reggie Leach of the Philadelphia Flyers. Working to the 91st seconds. A quick celebration. The ceremony is 1-10. And the 20 goals celebration. And Ryan Smith, 10 of his 20 goals in 24 games in the playoffs. First playoff goals, 6 goals in the first round, and then game 1 against the Minnesota Wild.
David Zella has won 10 of his 21 games on the road. This is a guy that signed a 9-year, $51 million contract. Zella has won 10 of his 21 games on the road. This is a guy that signed a 9-year, $51 million.
The ceremony on the ice. Oilers fans and Edmonton, congratulations to Ryan Smith, scoring 20 goals in 1 playoff game. Please welcome Reggie Leach of the Philadelphia Flyers to congratulate 19 goals of the 2007 playoffs. Well done, Ryan Smith. You did it. 20 goals in 1 playoff game. 24 games since the 2012 Stanley Cup playoffs. Just want to congratulate Ryan Smith and the Edmonton Oilers on the 2012 Stanley Cup final. Edmonton, let's score some goals. Fans and Oilers fans, please welcome the NHL Commissioner, Gary Bettman. Edmonton and Ryan Smith, you did it. 20 goals in 1 playoff game. Congratulations to Ryan Smith and Reggie Leach. The fastest goal scored ever. Ryan Smith and Riley Smith. The Sabres will go the 20 goals in one playoff game. It's going to go.
85 up. No argument, no.
The Edmonton Oilers headed through and under 20 goals, starting the regular season with the playoffs.
Volume group.
We just got one thing to say. Let's go Oilers!
YouTube video play.
This is a guy that's trying to congratulations to Ryan Smith. 20 goals. Off the board for his games. Quickly to Hall. Taylor Hall right up the middle. Against Colbert. Bumped off the puck by Braden Colbert. And it's picked up there by Kimmo Timonen. Timonen will give it to Colbert. He's 6'5", 220 pounds. Latrell dumps it in. He gets there first, avoids the hit. Mazaros plays it around the boards, trying to get it by Anton Landon. Latrell, here is a firing shot. And it's stopped by Vizgala. Briere. Can't get by Schmid. Belanger. Lets this center up. Grossman brings it right back in. Nicholas Grossman against Latrell.
YouTube video, YouTube.
Audrey now collected by Belanger. He just bounced it down the ice. They want to change up. Everly, Goniey, and Smith right there now.
That was a real solid shift. A lot of Latrell retaining the forecheck, using his size, and the back check again, taking out Grossman around.
And squeezed up with the play by Gilbert. Forecheck. At center. And Ringside gives it right back to him. Sam Holt in front of the net here. And he's hit with a shot to get the side of the table. And Ringside up to the point he goes. Carl. Brings it into the corner. Allows Andy Sutton to pick it up. Sutton plays it off the boards to Everly. Everly back to Sutton. And they brings that right down the ice. And again, the quarters for the Seas. They got the hook off line up there now. It's no further than center. Short back to reaching for it. And with Hall. Offside. Gene, an update on the coach.
Well, yeah, Kevin, we've certainly been concerned about Tom Gilbert, despite the fact he's the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. He wants to feel well, and he and Frederic Chabot, I ran into them during the second intermission, just inside the area by my studio. So that tells me that he's feeling much better if he's going up and down the stairs, and he did take the stairs. So he is feeling better and becoming more and more of a factor when it comes to helping the Edmonton Oilers coaching staff prepare. And also, Louis, when it comes to Ralph Kruger, helping in-game, because prior to this, he had talked to Ralph going into a game and after a game, but not during it.
He's got his headset now. And he's set up here, giving him little relays, little messages, taking face-off stats, all the little intricacies that go into it. So it's
Gene, an update on the coach.
Well, yeah, Kevin, we've certainly been concerned about Tom Rennie, despite the fact he's the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. He wants to feel well. He and Frederic Chabot, I ran into them during the second intermission, just inside the area by my studio. So that tells me that he's feeling much better if he's going up and down the stairs, and he did take the stairs. So he is feeling better and becoming more and more of a factor when it comes to helping the Edmonton Oilers coaching staff. Better if he's going up and down the stairs, and he did take the stairs. So he is feeling better and becoming more and more of a factor when it comes to helping the Edmonton Oilers coaching staff prepare. And up and down the stairs, and he did take the stairs. So he is feeling better and becoming more and more of a factor with Frederic Chabot. I ran into the head coach of the Edmonton intermission just inside the area by my studio. So that tells me that the Edmonton Oilers
will play Game 6 on Tuesday. We'll have an 8-hour flight. And after we head to Edmonton on Friday, Game 7 will be played on Friday.
15 volume group image.
Bon Jovi's living on a prayer.
Regulation time. 5:40 to go in regulation time. Schmid off the boards for Hemsky into the shift.
100 volume
And the
group image.
Flyers had a lot of guys on the ice as they ended a very slow shift.
Hemsky did it on purpose. He saw that there was too many, just decided to throw it at the guy standing on the bench, but it didn't work.
Skip navigation.
Long pass intended for Talbot doesn't work.
Slider at 0 minutes.
Will get to it. Talbot gives him a bump. The puck comes to Belanger, and Belanger will send it down the ice. Eager racing after it against Mazaros. Yager to Grossman. He's got Talbot with him. Talbot given a bump there by Potter. Whitney sends it around the boards. Intercepted by Yager, but it comes right to Eager. Van Eager will play it back to Whitney. Whitney will get it to Belanger. Now to Potter. Ryan Smith going up the middle. Eager.
No item in
Moving in against Carl. Back the other way. The Flyers come. Voracek fires a shot. Gilbert got a piece of that. Goniey was back defensively. Gives it to Smith. And Smith kicks it out to center. Ryan Smith sent unceremoniously to the ice.
Back a little bit late, too. The Rams here at Rexall Place wanted the penalty for interference on that one, but I don't know if there's going to be many calls like that late in this game, the way these two teams have gone at it.
Everly and Goniey now. Everly chips it in and takes a hit from Shen. Sabina tries to tie up Sam Goniey.
75 volume.
Sends it around the boards. Waiting for it. There is Bullshit. Gilbert. He and Van Riemsdyk both go down. Sucker will pick it up. He's got time. And he's set. Everly. Wins the chip. Gives it to Hall. Hall. Dropped it for Horkoff. Pinsky there to take it away from Scott Hartman. Here's Simmons. Brings it in. Simmons. Hartman. Gets checked and penalty on the way. And it's going to be a slashing penalty with 3 minutes and 33 seconds left to go here in regulation. Get put there a little too much. Cut shot as you can see Tillman does look. And the paddle comes down quickly for Britain. And still a little. Reed leads it for Giroux. Almost lead. He left now for the Philadelphia Flyers as they bring it in onside with Gala. It's the net. From the net with 2 minutes and 42 seconds to go. Now he's going to have to retreat as the faceoff comes outside the blue line. I like this. Peter Lavier left-handers got off to the bench early, activating a 6-player on the ice to make it 6-on-4. The minute and 9 left in the back. Taylor Hall still on the box. He's looking. He's got a high lead here to get to the bench. That little last move by Jagger through the offside. Horkoff wins the draw, but the Flyers get control. This ball is headed to the bench. 6 meters on 4 now for Philadelphia. A minute of power play time remaining. 2.5 minutes to go in regulation. Giroux. Horkoff, good shot. Goodnick will save it. Fade away. And Devin Goodnick holds his ground and gets the whistle. As Braden Shen was in there backing away.
So Devin Goodnick has been rock solid in this game. A great move by Giroux at the blue line to hold on to this one for a second. Smee tries to get the stick into the shooting lane, but he gets it down into the jungle. And 4 Philadelphia Flyers whacking away. Devin Goodnick keeps an eye on this puck. Almost gets pushed into the net himself. But because of all that action in front, sticks flailing, bodies flying, it gets whistled down just as it comes loose and gets jammed in. But anytime you start to see the goaltender get pushed back like that, they're going to whistle it down immediately. That's exactly what they did.
Keep it in for the Oilers on this penalty kill. They can fire to the open net and not worry about icing balls. Sent off against Briere. Briere wins that draw. Back to Giroux. Giroux with a lead behind the net for Briere. Briere behind the net. Keeps it outside of the boards. Reed keeps it on the far side. He'll give it to Giroux. Giroux throws it towards the net. They're looking for it against Smee. And he says, behind the net it goes. Here's Jagger. Given a punt there by Smee. Back to the point. Here's Reed. An opportunity at the blue line. Oh, it's Elijah. Good job to force Reed outside the line. 15 seconds left to go. In the penalty to Taylor Hall. A race. And here we go. 94 seconds to celebrate Ryan Smith.
No argument. No. No argument. No argument.
And 34 left to face off.
No argument.
To Giroux. Giroux. Down low. Quick shot by Voracek. Speed Hall down the penalty box.
No argument.
28 to go. The net empty for the Flyers. Giroux back to his own zone. Hall stays open. Claude Giroux.
No argument.
He is stopped.
No argument.
10 to go. And at the trail. Chopping it out for Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall going.
score.
Flyer now remains empty. Giroux flips it in. Goes after it himself. Gilbert.
No item indeed. No item.
Will look for a 15th playoff win. They will go 5-15-5-4. In the postseason.
No item indeed.
Shutout.
The National Hockey.
Big prevail to 5.
Terrific performance tonight. 35 saves. Gets the shutout and closes the door on the Philadelphia Flyers team. The team into this game is the top goal-scoring team in the National Hockey League. And yet, was cut out the 2-0 victory. It's deja vu all over again. The last time the Flyers were here, February 3rd, 2000. Deja vu all over again. The last time the Flyers were here, February 3rd, 2010. Flyers won that game 1-0. Second in win this game.
3-2. The Oilers led the series.
The Oilers won that game 1-0. They win this one by a pair.